Hello, this is Baron von Richthofen, and I'm going to take a look at a replay that was sent to me by Team Roll the Dice, or actually I believe it's just one member of Roll the Dice. Yes, it is GetChunky. It's actually going to be solo queue. I do recognize quite a few of these names. This is High Elo solo queue, so it should be a pretty exciting matchup. GetChunky is going to be on the blue team. He's going to be playing as Kennen, and they're going to have Akali as top lane, Nocturne in the jungle, and Caitlyn and Taric bottom. So definitely some aggressive action, lots of damage output, and a really strong early game team. Whereas purple is going to have Talon top, Skarner is going to be bot with Blitzcrank, I believe, and then Brand is going to be mid with Udyr in the jungle. Pretty interesting teams. Akali versus Talon is a fairly even matchup. Akali tends to do very well against melees, but Talon does have that silence and that AoE slow in front of him, so he will be able to kind of do some damage without taking damage in return, which is really what you want to do for Akali. If you can get free harass, then that can definitely give you an advantage in the lane. So I think that's a pretty even matchup. I haven't played Talon enough to recognize that matchup really, but they definitely have a lot of damage, and either one could kill each other. We do see, I guess, a couple of these names I do recognize. Next, Big Fat LP is going to be playing Skarner on the other team, and that's going to be pretty interesting. Caitlyn and Taric is a very strong lane. They can just play defensively and farm if they want to. Taric is going to be able to protect Caitlyn, and she does have that great range. But Blitzcrank and Skarner has good sustained damage. If he can get in on you, he will have that perpetual slow. He is reasonably tanky early on. He does need items to be tankier in team fights, but he will be difficult to take down, and then if they get a pull by Blitzcrank and then followed by the perpetual slow, that might be an aggressive lane. Udyr versus Nocturne, pretty even matchup. You see it quite often. They're two of the more popular junglers at the moment. Udyr is going to jungle slightly faster than Nocturne just because Udyr is really fast in the jungle. In both of their ganks have different elements. Udyr is exceedingly fast, but Nocturne has that great fear and will have that ultimate. Mid should be pretty even. Both Brand and Kennen have even harass. It'll really come down to strong play, and I do think that there is a slight advantage for blue team as far as going for Dragon early, particularly with that Kennen. But Brand definitely has the great damage output and the stun, so either way they're going to want to be very careful, and it's really going to come down to who has the better play. I do think that blue matches up a little bit better in a team fight. They do have more team synergy and burst, but if Skarner gets fed, and you see Skarner's actually going to be mid, so Brand and Blitz are probably going to be bottom. Taric will want to watch out that he doesn't get pulled early here. Nocturne, surprisingly, is starting at Wolves, but he's not doing blue, and that was a very slow Wolves. I don't know what Nocturne is doing here, that he's, just killing Wolves at this point. He should have had Wolves and blue by this point, honestly. So, he's a little bit behind. I'm not really sure what the reason for that delay was. Maybe they were being careful because they weren't sure where Blitzcrank is. So we take a look at top. We see that Talon is being pretty defensive here. Akali's probably got some good early aggression, has put him on the ropes, will throw off that Q, and then kind of throw him off with that fog. Udyr being very aggressive, coming in. He was actually in Nocturne's jungle, stealing Nocturne's creeps. Did he take anything? I believe, yes, Nocturne's level 2, so he took Udyr took the golems to come in for an early gank. Wasn't able to get in there, but Brand and Blitzcrank should be really aggressive. Brand has that massive damage output, and if Blitzcrank can hold someone still for Brand to hit those skill shots, it will be exceedingly easy for him. Otherwise, Caitlyn should be okay with the heals. And the pull goes on to Taric. He will get the pop-up, the stun instantly from Taric onto Blitzcrank. Brand will throw off some damage in return, gets that stun off, but really excellent reaction by Taric. Threw off the stun as he was in midair so that he wasn't picked up as a kill. That was definitely a potential situation there. Kennen versus Skarner, you do see Skarner has had to use a lot of mana early. Skarner in that lane, because Kennen has such great ranged harass, she has the Shuriken, but then even more powerful, she has her W ability. It does give her a passive on her auto attack, and then that easy AoE. So it's not AoE, but it hits all the targets with the mark of the assassin, so it will be able to do that. Udyr coming in, he does have red buff. Akali will shroud and will be okay here. But in mid, Kennen should be able to get off some good harass, and as a result, Skarner has had to spam all of his mana to throw off his heal, to throw off his shields, so that he can stay in. Udyr coming back in, and is going to be able to pick up Akali. He gets the stun, and is getting that red buff. They do back out. I'm not sure how high Akali is, but it was definitely high enough to deter them from tower diving. She does throw down the shroud once again, but now Talon is in a position of strength here. They see that Udyr has left, and Nocturne's going to be coming up. Talon probably doesn't have a ward at this time. He hasn't gone back. Udyr hadn't gone back either, so there's definitely no ward up here. If Nocturne can come up, Talon probably just came over in this brush to check out, or he might be recalling. There's Talon. Nocturne really needs to get up here, and he's moving up aggressively up this lane. He knows there's no ward, so as long as he gets in the bush, but Talon walked in the bush, so he saw Nocturne. Nocturne's just got to get in there now. He's getting the fear off, and the blink from Talon will be able to bring him back to that safety, but that blink will allow Akali to be very aggressive in that lane. And Skarner finally has recalled. He's been at low mana for quite some time and getting low health from that harass. So Kennen will definitely have a strength in that lane, but the pool was able to go off onto Caitlyn. Taric with the stun and the heal is able to deter them, but definitely a scary situation. Skarner has returned back to mid. So we take a look at the early CS. We see everyone's doing a pretty good job, but right off the bat you can tell that blue is at a slight advantage. Skarner's doing an excellent job of keeping up with this Kennen. So that should be pretty interesting. But otherwise, everyone's pretty even. Akali does have an advantage over Talon, so she has been using that early strength. And really, I think that lane's going to come down to who can get some early harass. But Blitzcrank is able to get the pop-up for Brand to get the kill onto Caitlyn. Blitzcrank actually got the kill. But, they definitely have that exciting burst damage. Blitzcrank will recall, so Taric will be able to sit down here a little bit, pick up some CS, and hopefully pick up a gold per 5. And now Kennen, because Kennen didn't go back when Skarner did, Kennen's actually a little bit behind in this lane now. I mean, she's not behind, but Skarner is going to be at strength right now, and that's going to allow him to farm. And, I think if Skarner gets the mana regen, as long as he can stay out of Kennen's damage with the ultimate and avoid the ganks from Nocturne, Kennen's not going to have enough burst damage to take down Skarner that easily, and Skarner is going to be able to just heal. He does have that one ability that his E marks all of the creeps, so that when he attacks them, he will heal off them, and then he also has a shield, so he should be pretty good to just sustain in this lane as he gets, from this point on, probably. I'm not sure how he's leveling his abilities, but he might be leveling them more so to the heal and the shield than the aggressive Q, which is the damage and the slow. And Akali coming in on Talon. Talon throws off the ultimate, wants to go invisible. He is running away. So Akali, again, just taking a commanding lead in this lane. Talon really having a difficult time with laning with her. He needs to get off that kind of slow damage. Akali definitely has the burst damage. Both of them have great burst damage, but Akali has a little bit more burst damage than Talon, so his advantage is going to be using that range with his AoE slow and hopefully get some harass and get back into a position where he can control the lane again. But I do think that is a strong lane for Akali, and she has taken control there. They will want to watch out that they don't let her get too much farm, and definitely don't want to give her any kills. And now Brand is going to pick up this blue. No, he's actually just walking up. Maybe he wanted the blue, but Udyr said no beans, not happening. And you see, Kennen still hasn't gone back. I believe that Skarner did just go back. He did, and he bought boots. So, once again, Kennen really should have recalled. Find that opportunity. Nocturne is going to hold the lane for her now that Skarner's pushing. Akali throwing off the damage. She throws off the ignite. Talon will use his ultimate to go invisible. He's still taking a lot of damage. He doesn't go down, but Akali, is just going to be sitting up here farming all game. And as it progresses, she's going to have a ton of burst damage as that assassin to go along with the AoE, disables from Kennen, and then the kind of assassin ability of the DPS carry that is Nocturne. So they will have some really strong single target burst, especially with Caitlyn's range. They could throw off an early ultimate and pick up some kills very quickly in team fights. Akali is probably going to be looking to get really some early kills as this game progresses. And Nocturne ulting in mid. He does get the fear off onto Skarner, but Skarner's going to pull Nocturne underneath the tower. He actually flashes. He doesn't get the pull. I kind of expected that he would pull and then flash. I'm not sure how that interaction worked. Udyr chasing down Akali. She did throw down the Shroud, but she's out of the Shroud now. The red buff from Udyr, and Talon chasing under the tower, and Udyr is able to pick up that kill with that damage. So this is some exciting matchup. Skarner will be okay, actually. They didn't pick up the kill, so unfortunately Skarner is just going to heal. You see him regenerating that health very quickly, so he has been putting levels into that E ability. Kennen will jump in on him, but she really cannot damage him fast enough. She has okay damage, but she's mostly a harass kind of damage dealer, as opposed to like the burst of, say, a Brand or an Annie or some Cassiopeia or something. Taking a look at bot, you see that Caitlyn's doing a pretty good job staying behind those creeps, doesn't want to get pulled again by Blitzcrank. So mostly it's been kind of a farm lane because they know that they have that aggression, and Caitlyn hasn't been throwing off any harass because she really doesn't want to put herself in a poor position. And, really you can throw harass when you're in a DPS versus DPS, but you really don't want to be too aggressive if it's going to be a lane that you just want to farm in, because they're not going to expect to get any kills or push Brand or Blitzcrank out of that lane. Talon might be coming mid. No, he's actually going back up top. We did see him for a second there. Taking a look at the farm again, we see that Akali's, not getting quite as many CS as she could. It has been a very aggressive lane top, so even though Nocturne hasn't been up there, Akali has kept Talon's farm down, but Udyr has been able to kind of keep Akali's farm down. They did see Udyr mid, so Kennen is holding position towards the south of this lane so that he can't get in. Udyr is now walking up top. So we continue to look at farm. Pretty even game, honestly. Skarner has taken control of this mid lane, you see. And Udyr coming up top, he is going to back up because Akali was backing up, so he recognized they have a ward there. And Caitlyn is able to get a kill onto Blitzcrank, but Brand picks up the kill onto Taric. Nocturne's down here, though. He doesn't have his ultimate, but they are going to pick up this kill very easily. The fear goes off the ultimate from Caitlyn, and they do pick up this kill. They will be able to aggressively push down this tower. I'm not sure. Okay, she is going to go back and push. Skarner is going to be coming back, but as we look at top lane, getting it up here, Akali dashes over to one of these creeps to have that excellent kite, but Talon flashes after her, and he's going to be chasing her down. It's going to be back and forth, and the Talon is going to be able to pick up that kill, but Nocturne mid does get the fear onto Skarner, but Skarner pulls him into the tower, so they're both disabled at the same time, you saw there. So Kennen will get some damage, but Skarner will be okay. Nocturne's okay as well, which is definitely important. They did see Udyr, so Kennen once again will shy away from that top rush. They actually threw off the CV to let Kennen know that Udyr was up there, and Kennen, taking a roundabout position, is going to be caught here now. She doesn't have her electrical surge, so she does need to get that for a second. The fear from Nocturne, it breaks, so now Udyr did not get the stun, unfortunately. If he had used the auto-targeting, you just hit your attack, whatever your attack button is. I think it defaults to A. You can change it in your settings. Then you attack into a brush, and no matter what, you'll automatically attack. But he did not do that. He was just right-clicking, and so he didn't auto-target, and Kennen was able to juke and get out of there, fortunately. And Talon, because of that lack of Akali there, was able to pick up that top tower. So pretty even, but a little bit of an early advantage going off towards purple. Skarner doing an excellent job controlling mid. He does have that catalyst, so really there's nothing that Kennen can do to keep him out of this lane, so he's really just going to work on farming very aggressively now, and just being really aggressive to kind of make life uneasy for Kennen. I would expect that we will see some dragon fights soon. Nocturne is coming back. They don't have a good DPS or bot, so it's really going to be dependent on Udyr, and we see the pink ward coming off from Blitzcrank, so they are probably setting up for a dragon soon. Nocturne did go back. Caitlyn's going to walk up, but she doesn't have any vision, so she's really got to be careful here. They do CV and recognize that they are not going for dragon, but we saw Udyr, I believe, coming right up above this brush, so Kennen will once again try and be a little bit careful there. Skarner flashes in on top of Kennen, throws the ultimate back, and it's Talon up there. He does have that burst damage, but Kennen just barely able to get out. Nocturne ulted in to get that fear off to save Kennen's life. The really aggressive play. I thought it might have been Udyr. We just saw a glimpse, but Skarner with the flash, almost picking up the kill. Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately for Kennen, or unfortunately for them, they were not able to succeed. But that little early advantage will allow them to pressure this dragon, and they will take this dragon because they know that they have a 5v4, and Kennen is definitely a lot of their damage now, and they really are dependent on Kennen's ultimate.